All right, welcome in. Welcome into the Illini Nation pregame show. I'm Courtney, Layne Brewer here with Tristan Thomas. As a lot of folks know, we're a one-man band or two-man band around here. So running the show ourselves as it's a beautiful morning here at Gies Memorial Stadium, Illinois, getting ready to host Rutgers.
I'm already shedding a little bit of layers. Had a hat, gloves walking in, but wake up and see 37 degrees. I'm like, oh man, it might be a little chilly, but not too bad so far for Illinois getting back to Gies Memorial Stadium, coming off 2 straight losses, including that loss last week at Washington, and now trying to bounce back. And Courtney, a really winnable Final Four games for the Illini. When you look at a game like this against Rutgers, a team you beat last year, it took a walk-off. It took some Pat Bryant heroics, but a game you're expecting to win, even with the defense struggling. I think this Final Four games is where Illinois can really make some hay and really put together a strong season.
I agree, and we've been saying that all year, knowing that these last 4 would set you up, would essentially determine your fate. You know, if you could go into these 4 with, let's just say, a different record than what the Illini have, you're flirting with the playoffs. That's not going to be the case this year, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, 3 losses.
But you're still flirting with a good bowl game, continuous rise of this program, and lots to still play for throughout these last 4. But you mentioned it. I feel like we haven't been here in forever.
Yeah.
Like here at Gies Memorial Stadium.
The Ohio State game feels like it was
so
a year ago.
long ago. And then something I was talking about with Robert Rosenthal last week on Sunday No Huddle, it's been a month since this team has won.
Yeah.
How do you think that impacts confidence and momentum as you look at this one?
Well, as I'm thinking, and, kind of Illini fans are maybe thinking in the back of their head, like 2011 of you go 6-0 and then you lose the last 6. Momentum.
I've heard a lot about that season in my time here.
But then again, that's the last time Illinois has been to back-to-back bowl games, 2010, 2011. So trying to update that stat, and you got a chance to do that today. Of just going bowling again, chance to then secure a winning season, and then so on. So I think it's important for this team. It's important for. I'm sure that the players, they say live your routine, tough, smart, dependable, all those things. But at the end of the day, when you've got wins to back that up, and the feeling of your work for that week leading to a win, I think that's huge. And it'd be a good chance for Illinois to do that today against a beatable Rutgers team. Like they've shown the ability to win some games. We can talk about what they bring on offense. But at the end of the day, Illinois is nearly a 2-touchdown favorite. I think 12.5 last I checked. You got to take care of business here at home.
Right. I definitely agree. Let's talk about injury report. Some unexpected things this week. Obviously, we knew Xavier Scott, and I think we knew Desmond Schuster would be out for this game. And then, of course, we knew about our season out. What we were not expecting was, well, first of all, the Rutgers availability report is pretty tough.
Yeah.
If we have any Rutgers fans tuning into our pregame show, thank you. And that should shake some things up for them. But bearing the lead, Dylan Rosiak out for this game. Leah Lowry out for this game. We saw Rosie get hurt earlier in the season. We saw him get hurt in pretty devastating fashion this weekend last year. I hate this for the kid, and I can't imagine what he's going through. But Tristan, without those 2 guys, what does that mean for a matchup here, especially on a team that, as you and I have been saying all morning, can threaten on offense?
Yeah, I mean, it's like for this Illinois defense, they've obviously struggled. They just couldn't get off the field throughout this season, and especially against Washington. So trying to get off the field without your kind of leading linebacker. They have depth in that linebacker room, so you're going to need a Malachi Hood to step up. Guys of that nature, Kanena Otaluga, guys who have played a lot, but they're going to be playing more today with Rosiak out. In the pass rush, it seems like Illinois has just struggled to really heat up quarterbacks, and not just heat up the quarterback. We've seen them get pressure at times, but getting home for sacks, that's been a real challenge for this Illinois defense. And you got to do it without one of your veteran transfers and Leon Lowry. You're going to lean on, of course, Gabe Akis, Daniel Brown. You need some people to step up on the edge and get some pressure on this Illinois team. And also it's a schematic challenge. Like so many questions for Aaron Henry this week. And you gotta get some positive mojo for this defense in an easier matchup. And Courtney, as we were talking about walking in here, this is not a typical Rutgers team that really likes to throw the ball. You think Rutgers football, you think running the football. Kyle Monungai went for over 120 last year in this game in Piscataway. You talk about Ray Rice throughout the years with Rutgers, the guy with the Chiefs. I'm blanking on Isaiah Pacheco.
Got there.
Yeah, there's just hard-nosed, gritty football. But you look at the Big Ten stats, and Ethan Kaliak-Manis is having a pretty good season for the Scarlet Knights. And through 8 games, over 2,200 passing yards.
Wow.
And I believe that puts him tops in the Big Ten in passing yards. And they've also got the leading receiver, KJ Duff, in receiving yards. Now, he is 3 yards ahead of Makai Lemon. Makai Lemon for USC has played in 7 games. KJ Duff played in 8 games. That helps.
What's the discrepancy there? He's 8 yards ahead of him?
3.
Oh.
But almost 71 yards ahead of Hank Beatty. So he's a guy you got to stop on the outside. Ian Strong, who was their leading receiver last year when these teams played, a bigger target on the outside for this Illinois defense to manage. So a couple big weapons. And again, the passing game, you got to be able to contain that, get off the field, not just get stops, but get off the field when you get in those 3rd and long situations. Is that schematics? Is that players not executing? That's not for me to say really. But that's something Illinois got to do to win this game.
Right. Just while you have your phone pulled up, can you walk me through Rutgers' 8 games so far and what's gone down in those 8 games?
Yeah, I mean, a game that I was a common opponent I was looking at last year or earlier this week at Purdue. Rutgers only a 3-point winner there. So looking at earlier in the season, a 3-point win over Ohio, 28-point win over Miami, Ohio. Loving those Ohio matchups for the non-con this week.
Ohio the Cats aren't a joke.
Yeah.
So that is still an impressive win. Never mind, it was only by 3.
Norfolk State, a 50-point win there. Iowa only winning by 10, but putting up 38 points on this Rutgers defense. So if Iowa can put up 38, imagine what Luke Altmaier and Hank Beatty and this Illini offense could do. 3-point win or loss to Minnesota, only a 19-point loss at Washington, and pretty much blown out at home against Oregon. And as I mentioned, a 3-point win for them at Purdue. So a lot of close games, I think.
A lot of close Big Ten games.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, this is still the Big Ten. This is still quality ball, no matter who the opponent is across all 18 teams.
And in case you're tuned out on Rutgers football, I mean, I don't know 4 or 5 years ago, they were bottom dwellers of the Big Ten, similar to Illinois at stages. But for whatever reason, Greg Schiano seems to have the ability to get this program to bowl games and contention. So they've got the axe, they're chopping wood, not chopping wood and carrying water. I think they're just chopping wood.
Is that what they say?
I think so.
I'm unfamiliar.
They do something with an axe.
I'm unfamiliar with their version of Tough, Smart, Dependable.
Yeah, that's their version of Tough, Smart, Dependable, essentially. And for whatever reason, it works. He's been able to bring in some talent and bring some consistency to that program. So they're not easy. They're not an easy team to beat. They're tough. They're going to play sound fundamental football. You got to be able to limit those mistakes, those turnovers. We've seen Illinois struggle with that at times against USC and Washington last week.
Yeah. Well, if you're just now joining us, the Your Illini Nation pregame show, as I just tried to remember what Illinois is ranked, and they are no longer.
They're not ranked.
As the Fighting Illini host Rutgers here. It's Dad's Day. It's another early start. But as we've said, it feels like it's been forever since this team has been in this stadium. As we talk about that Rutgers offense, Illinois, if you're going to perhaps, obviously this isn't ideal, but if defense isn't going to be solid and reliable this week, what do you have to do on offense to be able to match a team like Rutgers? Yeah, I mean, I think Rutgers still, wants to control the ball, control the clock. And Illinois wants to do a lot of those same things. So keep your defense off the field, keep them fresh. Luke Altmaier's got to make smart decisions and maybe not always go for the big play, but go for the play that's going to get you a first down, keep the chains moving, keep you on the field. I think Illinois is going to be able to run against Rutgers. We've seen that run game get going at times. Khalil Valentine really starting to take over that running back room. We've seen earlier in the season. Maybe Caden Fagan, Aiden Lawfrey can
can make some big plays as well. They're always prone to break a big one. So yeah, I mean, we've seen Cole Rusk get involved as well. I think him and Luke seem to have a good rapport.
Mm-hmm.
So keeping him involved in the offense and certainly getting Hank Beatty in creative situations wouldn't hurt as well.
Yeah, I mean, as we've learned now through 8 games, there is nothing Hank Beatty can't do.
Yeah.
And there is also nothing teams can really do to shut him down. I've not seen him shut down. Forgive me if I'm missing something, but I feel like he's continuously, if you're feeding him the ball, he's gaining a good chunk of yards.
I mean, most of the offense was shut down against Ohio State.
Well,
he made some plays.
Yeah.
Of course, Aiden Lawford got in the end zone in that game. But most teams are shut down against Ohio State anyway. So, yeah, a chance.
That game's an outlier.
Yeah, a chance for him to get, back over 100 yards. We've seen that multiple times. He can certainly throw the ball, can run the ball, can do, a little bit of everything as you were mentioning. I think another key for this Illinois defense is kind of that bend, don't break. If, you get in, you give up some yards, that's fine. That's looking at the stats, that kind of tells the story is, Ethan Kaliak-Manis is leading the Big Ten in passing yards, 12 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. So it seems like he's been able to take care of the ball pretty well and not throw too many interceptions, but not super high in the touchdown standings. That's Fernando Mendoza's number 1 with 24 passing touchdowns. And let's see, Kaliak-Manis is barely top 10 in that stat. So got to be able to do that. Got to be able to take care of getting field goals. Your offense gets touchdowns. That's a good recipe.
Yeah. I just want to point out something really quickly. It just came through on my watch through our friend Jeremy Warner at 24/7 Sports. Dylan Rosiak is out for this game, in case you missed this off the top. We were unaware of this coming into today. Mm-hmm. Jeremy Warner, no visible injury like a brace or boot or crutches, something like that, for Dylan Rosiak today. So not sure what the detail is there. We'll try. And I imagine lots of people will be asking that of Brett Bielema when we get into that post-game press conference room, which, by the way, will be right here, the same place you're watching us right now, immediately following this game between Illinois and the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. Tristan, as somebody who's spent more time in the Big Ten than I have, what stands out to you about Rutgers as a program?
Yeah, I mean, like it's the running game is always been the thing they'll do, and they can still run the ball. Their running back Antoine Raymond is third in the Big Ten in yards, 10 touchdowns. So you got to be able to match him, but he's got a couple fumbles. So maybe if you can get the the turnover belt, the mayhem belt.
The mayhem belt.
Get the mayhem belt going again. Maybe force him into a couple fumbles as well. But just maybe a team you overlook. I think Illini fans might overlook Rutgers because you beat them last year.
Sure.
But you don't think back of, practically Illinois did a lot of things to lose that game. Of course, you had Luke Altmaier, you had Pat Bryant to make that last-second miraculous touchdown. But I just think Rutgers in your mind is still a lower-tier Big Ten team. But we've seen them come into Memorial Stadium and win plenty of times. Mm-hmm. So it's really a team you can't overlook. The players aren't overlooking them. But from a fan standpoint, I think this is a Rutgers team that can beat Illinois if they don't bring their A game, if they do some of those things they did against Ohio State, against Washington, that lose you games, the turnovers, even against USC, fumbling inside the 5. You just can't do that. You get in those plus situations, you got to cash in that money zone, that red zone, and certainly kind of waiting for Illinois to do that. But if they put it all together, I think Illinois can win this comfortably, get to bowl eligibility, and then you get to the final 3 games and a chance still to get 9 wins, which I think is very doable. I think you look at the Maryland game coming up. That's a different kind of vibe for me, where you look at Maryland on the schedule and just kind of think loss. I don't know,
so I was actually just going to point out, and I don't say this from a point of concern because I don't see this Illini team as one to fall for trap games.
Yeah.
But this could very feasibly be a trap game because, everybody's looking at these last 4. Yeah. Even before the season, like I started our show by saying, everyone was looking at these last 4. And when you look at them, besides Northwestern, this Rutgers game is one that the casual fan writes off as a win.
Yeah.
There's very easy way to take that mindset and fall into it. Now, again, I don't think this Illini team is one to do that. I just want to point that out because it is pretty significant when you look at this game in the grand scheme of trying to get bowl eligible, maybe trying to get to 9 wins again and lock in for these last 4.
Well, and something to help that trap game narrative is next week's a bye week for Illinois.
Right.
So, it's a standalone. You're not looking ahead to next week. It's just, hey, we got this game and then the bye week to kind of reset for the final 3. So, that could play into the, hey, let's lock in on this game and get a win and get, again, bowl eligibility. That's just such a big thing. That's still the general kind of standard, I feel like, for Illinois football. You come into the season with all the preseason hype and the expectations, as they should, right? I mean, moving up to number 9 in the country before the loss at Indiana, all that was valid. But I think as we've kind of seen that you can reframe the expectations, okay, bowl games out of the question, but can you get to the best, one of the better non-college football playoff bowl games? I think Illinois can still do that.
I do as well, especially when you look at still, besides last week.
Yeah.
Those losses to Indiana and Ohio State, those are teams that I can say with almost 100% certainty will be in the college football playoffs.
Yeah.
Those are still 2 high-quality losses. And I know that seems like an oxymoronic phrase, but that's something that has really become a thing in the college football playoff era.
Mm-hmm.
You hear about these quality losses
all
the time. Illinois has 2 of those that, at least on paper, you're saying, oh, they lost to Ohio and Ohio State and Indiana, and they're chilling.
Yeah. I mean, if Indiana looked better, you could I was there. That game was almost never close. Like after that block punt, it was basically over. If you could pick a bowl game for Illinois to go to, what would you choose?
I'm gonna be honest with you. Which bowl games the Big Ten can go to is escaping me.
Yeah, I mean, so you got.
I think it's just safe to say you want to go to a New Year's Six.
Yeah.
At bare minimum.
Yeah.
And I think that's still feasible. Besides those games that are obviously playoff games, I think that's still very feasible.
I mean, Nashville, Music City Bowl.
I would love that.
Citrus Bowl, you can go again. I've seen. This might have been a few weeks ago, but Illinois and Mizzou in the Citrus Bowl.
I saw that as well, and I think a lot of Illini fans got very big eyes like saucers when they saw that on the schedule. Yeah, I think the return to the Citrus Bowl would be satisfactory.
Yeah,
definitely. That Music City Bowl has gone through periods of being, I don't want to use the word prestigious, but that Music City Bowl has gone through years of being a really quality bowl.
Yeah.
And I think that would be a really good choice for Illini fans. You're going to Nashville already in December. Might as well go twice.
Right?
Why not?
A little double dip
with the game against the Vols at Bridgestone Arena.
Why not? Let's do it.
It'll be fun.
Yeah.
And let's talk about that really quick, Tristan, because obviously 'tis the season.
Yeah.
We can almost see State Farm Center right here to our right.
If I was basketball 20 feet tall, I would be able to see it.
Basketball season is here. Tristan, you have now seen both of Illinois' programs play exhibition games.
Yeah.
I unfortunately haven't been at either of these games, so I've not seen a single minute of play on either team. Tell me just briefly, because obviously we will bring you our pregame show before select games this season. Briefly, what you see from both squads.
Well, we broke a lot of it down in the Your Illini Nation preseason special, our tip-off special that is on our digital channels in case you missed that. For the men's team, again, no Mihailo Petrovic, no Andrei Stojakovic. Those could arguably be 2 of your better players. So, that aside, David Mirkovic is really impressive. A double-double, could shoot it. I think having a strong 4-man, a guy that you can post up on, in the corner, you can get him on the block, you can run, screen and roll, pick and pop. That's throughout the Brad Underwood era, Illinois has missed a guy like that. They've had the big, they had Kofi, they've had the guard play, Trent Frazier, Ayodesumu, etc. KJ last year, but that 4-man, that guy that can really impact a game. I guess Matthew Meyer was that a few years ago, but that team never quite put it together. But the skill that, Mirkovic is 19 years old, and he just looks like a seasoned pro.
That's crazy, because alternatively, how old is
Mihailo
Petrovic? Is he 23?
22, I believe.
That's insane.
Yeah, I would not put those 3 years apart. But no Tomislav Ivicic as well. But I think Zvonimir looked pretty impressive. Another guy that can get on the wing and shoot it. can do a lot of different things. Saw him get up for that dunk. Needs to learn to not hang on the rim. Can't do the pull up on the rim.
I loved the. That's not a foul in Europe.
Yeah.
Can we not do that here?
Yeah.
So
What is
fun.
that? That is not technical.
That is not technical in Europe.
Yeah, great quote from that game in case you missed it. But I think, talk about what this team can do on offense. I caught up with Isaac Trotter, CBS Sports, and a local guy as well. And, he said, hey, the last however many national champions have had an elite offense, and Illinois can do that. It's the question of defensively, what do you look like? What do you look like in a tough Big Ten? How does Illinois manage that? Isaac Trotter said, hey, he thinks 13 Big Ten teams can make the NCAA
I think
tournament.
that's entirely feasible.
That's pretty. I mean, I can see that happening for sure. It's a tough league, deep league for sure, and top heavy. And I mean, Michigan looks good. UCLA has got all the preseason hype with Donovan Dent and all they bring back as well. So how do you manage that? How do you manage some of those road tests later in the season? A challenging stretch. I think Illinois has got to get off to a strong start in Big Ten play. I think we talked about this before, like win 3-4 potentially of those tough, non-con games. I think this team's, is able to do that. Milo Petrovic will miss the regular season opener against Jackson State. Got to get him healthy for Texas Tech and the rest of that tough non-conference. On the women's side,
yeah, you said you were really impressed with them.
Really impressed with Cece Parchment. 6'3" freshman, top 40, top 50 national recruit. A freshman that came out right away and said she was nervous a little bit, but I couldn't tell. I mean, she dropped, 23 and 13, 22 and 13 in her debut, 2 for 2 from 3. A little bit of a Mirkovic type thing too, where she could just do a little bit of everything on the floor. Even I saw her get the rebound and take it coast to coast. Like, she can handle the ball. She can play make a little bit. She's crafty around the rim. Saw her hit one of those reverse layups. That's pretty impressive. The guard play as well. You got Destiny Jackson. She was running the point. She was running the show for the Illini against a Maryville team that beat Mizzou. So no total slouch there. Even though it's an exhibition game against a D2. She looked impressive. Aaliyah Guyton didn't play, so excited to see her as well. Another highly touted recruit. There's just so much talent on this Illinois women's basketball team. Stark contrast to 5, 6, 7 years ago, where it was like, hey, 1 or 2 options potentially. There's a lot of Shauna Green's got some depth finally, right? So many injuries, and knock on wood that team can stay healthy. But excited for hoop season. But Courtney, we're not all the way on to hoop season quite yet. We still got football here.
All.
Still 4 more regular season games to go for this Illinois team, including against Rutgers. 72 minutes on the clock here until tip-off. All this going on here at Memorial Stadium. But Courtney, some high school games.
Yeah, that's what I'm working on getting pulled up. We're in the first round of the high school football playoffs. It's a really exciting time. I am going to run through just some of the games that we'll have for you tonight. No 6 o'clock newscast on WCIA, but we will be on at 10. All of the highlights and a recap of the game. And Tristan will be at one of our many high school football games. So let me just run you through some of these. GCMS versus Ottawa Marquette, Mahomet Seymour, Tristan's alma mater, playing Marion, Monticello and Paris, Unity and Mount Carmel. Are there any on here that you want to shout out real quick?
Yeah, I mean, I think Westville getting off to the opening the postseason. They're undefeated against Shelbyville. Oakwood, another strong season for the Comets. I mean, you talk about just consistent progress for that program. Arthur Leventon Atwood Hammond undefeated as well, taking on Marshall, an all local battle. Cumberland and Sullivan, Williamsville undefeated. Pretty strong, regular season for them. Pena and BHRA, Quincy Notre Dame, SHG, and MacArthur at Peoria. We'll have a good chunk of those in our 10 o'clock newscast. Glenn Kinley will be in studio for that. And, I'll be at the, Unity Mount Carmel game. Excited to see a Golden Aces team I've seen before. I used to live in Mount Carmel,
right?
Funny enough. So excited to see, what that game looks like in Unity. Dane Eisenmanger, over 8,000 career yards. Pretty impressive stuff to do that. 4.58 miles traveled on a football field.
But then also another one of those stats where you're like, well, it's Dane Eisenmanger. He's been doing this for 3 years.
He's been around.
He knows his ball.
Yeah. And a Unity team, I think, that's got a chance to make a run. I mean, they've got weapons. They've got a defense. They can run it. They can throw it. They can sting you in all kinds of different ways. So excited to see that. And again, excited to see Illinois here. I think, Courtney, getting back to this Illinois game, I think a fast start is big. I think, Illinois got down 14-3 last week on the road, a loud road environment in Husky Stadium. But, how do you think this team can maybe get off to a strong start? What do you think would, go into taking a lead? Who needs to kind of lead that charge?
I think you just have to hit the ground running. You have to go into this one immediately. We've seen some slow starts from this team this season, and it's not ideal. So I think just getting that ball into the hands of Luke Altmaier and him continuing to feed this arsenal of receivers and running backs that we've got on this team, he just has to feed them, get the ball down the field, and continue to come out hot in this one. You can't not against a team like Rutgers.
Yeah, I think, if you can get some first downs, get the run game going, get the offensive line, get some surge. This Rutgers team is going to be tough. I can't tell you much about what they bring in the trenches, but I know they're fundamentally sound. And if you don't come out with the energy to, hey, we're going to establish the run game, we're going to be able to pick up chunk yardage with, a Khalil Valentine and Aiden Lawfrey, a Caden Fagan, then all of a sudden you get in these third and longs, and then the defense is able to pin their ears back, get some pressure going, and ultimately that's tough for Luke Altmaier to manage. I think Luke can get going in the run game too if you get him, get some moving pockets. Look, I trust Barry Lunny to be creative with this offense. He's certainly been able to do that.
Nothing if not cretive.
Yeah. He's not just going to throw some vanilla stuff at you. But yeah, if Luke can get in the run game, help out in that way. The screen game, if that can get going as well. I think we've seen Hudson Clement really get going in the short to medium range, but also be able to stretch the field. Can a Colin Dixon come up with a big play or two early to help out that effort? We'll see. But excited to see where this is going. Do you want to do some random predictions?
We have quickly random predictions. I'm going to go ahead and ride. I've done Hudson Clement for like 3 straight of these. I want to see Hudson Clement in the end zone. I am begging. I want to see this happen. I've been saying it all year. Give it to me this week.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to go Caden Fagan 50+ yard touchdown, whether that's a catch or a run. We've seen him do that before. Yeah. Just a random one.
I like that a lot.
No thought behind that. Maybe hope for maybe he's feeding off the, ALAH Knights opening up the postseason play. He's fired up for his alma mater, maybe.
Let's see it. We can only hope. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us this morning for another pregame show. Quick run through. Again, we'll be back here post-game with Brett Bielema's post-game comments. We'll have plenty of action over on our social media channels, both from this game and from our plethora of high school football games, and then a lot tonight at 10 o'clock. So thank you so much for joining us. The Illini Nation pregame show. I'm going to hand you this so I can pick up my laptop again if you want to talk into both microphones.
2 mics. Thank you for watching. Again, excited for this one. It's going to be looks like a beautiful day, a beautiful fall day. Just a little bit chilly. You might want to, I don't know if you need like a full winter coat type vibe, but maybe if you're prone to getting chilly. It's going to be a fun one here from Gies Memorial Stadium, Illinois, and Rutgers getting going at the top of the hour.
I'm almost there. I can tell that you're just like overinflating yourself. All right, folks, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We'll see you back here with Coach and then tonight at 10 on WCIA.
Thank you for watching. Have a good one.